Okay. I've been the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Maghreb Affairs since late August, since August 29th, in fact. And Ambassador Incher reached out to me early on and said, you're welcome to come to Algeria. And I said, thank you very much, and I'll make sure it's my first stop. And here we are. So we've had some good meetings with government officials. We've had good meetings inside the embassy. It's been a real learning experience for me. The country's always been a fascinating one. As a child, as an adolescent, I read all these France Fanon books about Algeria, about the Algerian Revolution, and I'm pleased to be here to see the place where all those events took place. I've heard you all are aggressive. I beg your indulgence. This is not a press conference as such. This is a conversation. So let the games begin. So we're open for questions. We're open for remarks.
The gentleman is representative of the Algerian TV, the state television, and he said that since it's your very first visit here into Algeria, would like to know what was the perception and the image that you had about Algeria in the past, and the fact that you are here, has this image changed, or are you keeping the same perception or the same vision and image of Algeria that you have had before your visit?
Thank you very much. I mentioned early on that as a mere youth, I followed very closely the Algerian Revolution. My parents steeped me in the works of France Fanon, and so they gave me a certain perception. Coming into the Foreign Service, I served in a number of African posts, West African posts. Coming into the Foreign Service, I served in a number of African posts that are just Portuguese-speaking African posts that have just recently been freed not only from colonialism but from civil wars that followed colonialism. And in those three countries, in Guinea-Bissau, in Angola, in Ghana, we still heard about the role of the Algerians in the whole decolonization process.
Okay.
Now, there's more, and I'm going to fill up the time as much as I can while I'm talking. Coming into this job, I took one look at the map of the countries under my responsibility of Libya, Tunisia, Algeria, Morocco, Western Sahara. And the first thing I noticed was that the largest country under my responsibility is Algeria. I took another look at the map, and previously I'd worked a lot with Sudan, but I noted that with the breakup of Sudan, Algeria is now the largest country in Africa. So I quickly decided that because Algeria was the largest country, it should get the largest share of my attention. So when Ambassador Incher called and said, we want you to come to Algeria, I was like, yes, I'll be there. and I hope to come again. Now, the final part of your question, does it meet my expectations, my anticipations? I think the short answer to that is, you know, we're in the Foreign Service and we go from country to country, and one of the things that I've learned is to minimize one's expectations so that in the end you won't be disappointed. That said, I didn't come with immense expectations of what I would see in Algeria. I came with the intent to absorb the things that exist and to learn all I could. And I think we're well on the way to achieving that goal. Okay, next question.
From the newspaper, the daily newspaper Quotidien de Rouen, has two minor questions to raise. He would like to talk about the external or foreign policy of the United States. It is poorly perceived or badly conceived by the men in the streets, especially in Algeria. And he would like to know if your visit and the visit of the several previous high-level delegations that come to Algeria had the objective of improving the image of the United States as it is perceived here by the laymen or by the men in the street. Second question, it's about all the weapons and ammunition that are somewhere loose, that have been stolen, and they are in the wilderness practically in Libya. Is there any cooperation between the United States and Algeria in order to collect them or to get them back?
Right. I think it's fair and it's truthful to say that that there's no conspiracy. There's no planned effort to send a number of people. It's just the fact that the visits have followed one another in succession is just a coincidence.
Sorry, if I could just add, you know, I think it's also the case that the recent series of high-level visits just indicates the importance of the bilateral relationship. The two countries share a lot of interests, and so it's natural that there should be an exchange of visits, and I would expect that to continue, actually.
And that leads me to the second half of the first question, if I may. I think we can't. It's more or less inescapable that we have a lot of interest right now. The United States has vested interest in regional stability in North Africa. We have a long-standing partnership with the government of Algeria, with the Algerian people. And so, as Ambassador Insher mentioned, it makes sense that with the rising importance of the bilateral relationship, you would see visitors coming back and forth on either side and having a good exchange of views. And the third part of the first answer is related to the second answer. We have a partnership that exists between Algeria and the United States, between the Algerian people and the people of the United States, between the government of Algeria and the government of the United States. That partnership is one of friends, of co-equals. And our aim is to improve that relationship in all respects. Now, we are certainly developing all levels, all aspects of that partnership, and it's truthful and fair to say that the aspects of the partnership that involve counterterrorism, that involve intelligence sharing, that involve weapons proliferation, and preventing that proliferation of weapons from neighboring Libya are important aspects, and it's our aim to continue to improve the relationship with Algeria and with others of other neighbors of Libya to stop the flow of weapons.
Bonsoir, Hassanat Amara du quotidien Le Courrier d'Algérie. Monsieur le secrétaire d'État, donc c'est la première fois que vous visitez l'Algérie. Peut-on savoir votre message essentiel pour les autorités algériennes dans le cadre de votre visite en Algérie? Ma seconde question concerne ce qui se passe en Libye, donc la situation en Libye. Les États-Unis, pour le pays qui est à l'avant-garde de la défense des droits de l'homme, nous savons tous que les autorités, les nouvelles autorités libyennes ont opté pour la charia dans la gestion des affaires de l'État. Dans ce sens, quel est votre message aux nouvelles autorités libyennes? Merci.
All right. We've met with Delegate Minister Masahel. We met with Director General Bucadome. We had a good discussion about our mutual concerns, our mutual interests in the region. Of course, we talked about Libya and the relationship between Algeria and Libya. We are supporters of the TNC, and we hope that Libya's neighbors will also support the TNC as they work to build a new democracy from a fragile position. In addition to the subject of Libya, we talked about improving our relations in the area, in the field, as I mentioned earlier, of counterterrorism. We also talked about improving our relationships in other areas as well, and there are many areas. There are areas of economic advancement, and we want to promote U.S. businesses and U.S. investment in Algeria and Algerian investment in the United States. We talked about a number of areas. We talked about things that are pretty much internal to the operations of the embassy that would just bore you, but things that we need to work out on both sides of the Atlantic, and we had a good discussion. Now, if I share with you now my message for Libya, because you asked, I won't have anything to say when I go to Libya.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I won't go into great detail, but what I do want to say is that the TNC has some tough challenges ahead, and the position of the United States government is to support the TNC as they meet those challenges.
Hamid Yassine du journal Khabar. Hamid Yassine du journal Khabar.
You are in charge of
Vous êtes chargé du
Maghreb
Maghreb arabe au département d'État. Est-ce qu'on peut avoir votre vision, votre approche par rapport à la question des frontières algéro-marocaines qui sont fermées depuis presque 17 ans? Merci.
Just recently, my boss, the assistant secretary, made visits to Morocco and to Algeria. In preparing our briefings for him, we put some emphasis on the facts that we have solid relationships with Algeria, we have solid relationships with Morocco, and although it's not our place to say what should be the relationship between Algeria and Morocco, just because we are friends with the two, it is fair to say that our hope is that our friends will be friends with each other. Now, I made this point this morning in a meeting. It was brought to my attention that, yes, you're friends with Morocco, you're friends with Algeria, but the Algerians and Moroccans are not friends with each other. They're brothers to each other. So our core interest is in regional stability. And regional stability dictates that the countries in the region get along well with each other. And we note that despite the status of the border, there's an Algerian embassy in Morocco and there's a Moroccan embassy in Algeria, so that relations are open and there's room for improvement in those relations.
The gentleman is a journalist from the daily newspaper Liberté, and he would like to know your opinion or your ideas about the Arab Spring. We know that the United States have been supporting the Arab revolutions and the fact that they practically ended in Tunisia, Libya, and Egypt. But what we have been seeing, and we have noted that the Islamist parties are having the upper hand there. Doesn't that worry the United States?